This is A.S.D.P ufologist Terry Ledge from Oregon. You're watching the Mothership Alien Strand podcast with your host, Donald Ledesma. Process of my research, I found this location as I was searching through satellite imagery. It looks to me like it resembles a spear.
When I first seen my first sighting, I actually seen a whole fleet of them.
So I saw it and I stood right here and I thought, do I want to walk into the light?
That's what was lit up. But there was no sound.
Come on, guys, follow me to the Cascadia guides. We're here. Yes, I do feel like I'm connected with them. I am what they call a CE3.
Why not believe it?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. So it's going to be a pretty interesting one. I hope you liked this opening monologue, the commercial of the middle. I hope all you guys have watched the middle, because it's one of those documentaries that it took us a little while to make, but it was a great story. And on top of that, it teaches you a lot about ufology and how to catch UFOs in the sky and how to use your camera and not just that, but the geoglyphs that were found up there on top of Paulina Peak with Terry's story. So I'm glad you guys are chiming in today. I hope everything's sounding good. If everything sounds good, looks good, let me know. That way I can be on top of things, so that way, we can give you at least a really good and decent show today. You can catch us on 26, 27 platforms, on audio podcasts, we're on iHeartRadio, Spotify, we're everywhere. You can even ask Alexa and she'll even play some Alien Strand podcast. Okay. So we're going to, a lot of these episodes that we do get on here on video, we do transfer them to audio. Okay, so that way you guys, if you didn't have a chance or you want somebody to listen to it, I know it's kind of hard because we do throw a couple of photos and videos up on this podcast, so that way people can watch them. But if there's some interesting information that you want to pass along, please share the audio podcast. You can always download. It's called Spreaker, Spreaker, Spreaker app. Download that and then just look for Alien Strand, add that to your favorites, so that way when new podcasts come out, it'll tell you right away. Of course, everything does that too, like Spotify, iHeartRadio, they all do that as well. And it's we always try to get the information to you guys as much as possible. And thank you guys for chiming in today and kind of watching the show. We're actually waiting on Lauri Body. We had her on a little while ago, and then so I'm just kind of waiting on her to come back here in a little bit. But I'm just going to talk a little bit about a couple of things that we have. If you've seen our past podcasts with me and Terry, we talked about spirits, supernatural. I threw that out there because we do need to get into that realm as well, because I do believe that they do come together, and they just kind of mesh. I think they're in the same dimension. This is just me personally saying, okay, not that I know, but it's just the things that I'm just catching out there. After we put a lot of these pieces of the puzzle together, right? Because that's what we do. We work as a team. There is no I in team. Don't forget, we catch us all over the place. Now that we have, we have Patreon. Go to that Patreon. We're getting everything ready to start loading everything up on Patreon. Okay, so what Patreon is, it's going to be an extra platform out there. So things that you don't see here today or see or hear it. This is going to be something new, right? That we're going to be throwing out there. Different stories, different things, of the unknown will be on here. So it's a Patreon. We do have free stuff there as well. So you can just kind of follow us there for free, or you can do the paid subscription and get those extras that are in there. That's why it's called Alien Strand Extras. Go check that out as well. Okay. Also, like I said, today's podcast is going to be, alien contact. It's going to be contacted aliens in the shadows, because she told me some interesting stories about, what had happened to her. Why I spoke to her last week. We tried to get her on, but she was having some difficulties trying to log in. And it happens. It happens to a lot of folks, but, hopefully we get her today. And this is going to be a great podcast because I want you guys to hear her story of things that has happened to her since as a child. All right. So, we're just trying to plug along, get a lot of stuff in. You did see the commercial for the middle. I hope you guys really like that. Still on Amazon Prime, $2.99, no commercials. Check it out there. If you want to check it out on our other platforms, we are now on TCL on Roku. Yay. Check that out. It's like I said the last time, I never thought we were going to be on Roku, but we were, and then Roku says, you know what? You want to be on our channel? Damn right we do. So, we put it on there, and, now we're on Tubi TV for free, TCL channel, Hoopla. We're all over the place. If you do watch our documentary, give us a nice thumbs up on there. Okay. That helps, get it out to different countries. Right now, I believe it's in 5 different countries, that people can watch all the way around the world. And it can't be done without you, because you guys are the ones that are spreading the word to this movie. And then, of course, watch out, man. Watch out. We got this new movie going to be coming up. I am still in the editing process. I think I got another 2 or 3 minutes in already. That is a, it's a difficult task to edit. I don't know if you guys have ever tried it. Some phone apps are pretty cool. You can do them on phones. You can do some real fancy smanchy stuff, but as for when you go out and see it on a large screen or, big movie screen, I have to make sure that everything's right, colors, everything, because not everything that you shoot on cameras is going to look the same. So we have to match colors, making sure everything looks good, not just that, but just the way it's put together and the way I direct it and the way I produced it. So, and this had a lot to do with you guys. Thank you guys for the help, that we were able to, we got, a little bit of extra funding in there to get this going. And these people are very special folks on there that are going to tell their stories that have never told their stories out on public. So you're going to be able to see this on the movie. And, I was going through my Facebook, right? And I saw that Netflix came up with something similar. I said, I wonder where they got that idea from. Yeah, now you know, right? So it happens, man. It does happen. But you know what? It's not about the film and who does it first. It's about the actual storytelling, right? And the truthfulness to it. So here at Alien Strand, on A.S.D.P, it's Alien Strand Disclosure Project, you can actually, get all the information from here as well, right? So we do have a website you can go check out, and this website actually, gives you a couple of cases that we've done as well, and you can go to there, or you can go to alienstrand.com, and that's our sister page as well, and you can actually, check out, there's some photos and videos that we have on there as well. Pretty nice stuff. We like putting out a lot of things for you guys to see out there, because usually when it comes out new, it doesn't really, it takes a while for it to get going, right? So when we start putting things out, a lot of times, you got to go to special web pages, not just Facebook, but of course you got Instagram, you got all those good pages that are able to get more information. Now, if you are one of those groups or whatever out there, please, man, share your stuff, man. Share it. Don't just keep it there. We do share our stuff, but when it's real special, what we do on ASDP, our group, it's not public. It's more like a, you have to be special, right? And we get you in on that page too. So all you got to do is just send us a request, and we'll check it out. We'll get you on there, on Alien Strand Disclosure Project page, what we do is we analyze all together as ufologists, right? And as citizen ufologists, we all go through images sometimes, and we start posting them there, because we start going through our filters and our video filters and picture filters, and start to analyze it all together. Now, we do have a lot of folks on board, on ASDP. Of course, we had, of course, Ryan Keaton's on there. Now Chris Hamill out of Australia. What's up, my brother? And I love him. He's actually going to be on the next film as well. So you'll be seeing a lot more of Mr. Chris Hamill on the middle part 2, C3. So be on the lookout for that. Mr. Anibal Quinones is here. Christy Alman, Richard Bowman Jr. How you doing, my brother? We had a nice little meeting yesterday. And we always try to talk about, new things and new things to come, right? So what we always try to get together and just try to get involved with everything that's happening in ufology and in the UFO world, right? Because that's what we do, right? Is try to put a lot of these pieces to the stories together, right? Because there's no I in team, right? It's we all work together as one, and what better thing can you ask for is to do it that way, I do love what I do here. I enjoy everything what I do here, and because it's the information, sometimes we don't get it perfect every time, right? Sometimes we have glitches, things happen, our audio goes bad, things are always happening, to get it, to make it right, but we try to get the information to you as much as possible. I just don't understand how, okay, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. So when I was doing a couple of these podcasts and it was glitching so bad, well, my freaking Windows decides to do updates right in the middle of this crap. And I thought they fixed that, but it didn't. So, and it just kept glitching. I was like, what the heck, but I said, I'm not going to deal with that anymore. So we went ahead and just put our Mac up and said, let's just go ahead and try this out. And I think it works a whole lot better. There's been a lot of things going on in ufology today, and actually during the week. So as far as the aliens that they had in Mexico, there's still a lot of stories to that of what's happening out there, and what they're trying to get, the DNA, they found I think 30% or something that it was non-human. And then they found bones that were different, and they were in different places, and I had a kind of hypothesis on those Nazca aliens that they had there in Mexico that they just came out with. And believe me, I've been following this story since 2017, since they first found them, and when they first pulled them out of those caves, right? So and it's when you people that are just getting into ufology right now are just saying, "Oh wow, that's new." Well, no, it's great, for you guys, but we've been following this for a while, and they didn't just find those little aliens in there. They found hands that are about the size of my screen. That only had 3 fingers. They found bigger bodies in there. It's just you only saw a small portion of what they found when they put that out there in Mexico City, right, in front of Congress, right. So and they had a lot of scans and a lot of good things that were happening, to try to let you know, hey, is it real? Is it not real? And that's still up in the air. You know, could it be real? Could it not be real? It's hard to tell. And this was my hypothesis. I don't know if maybe you guys can understand what I'm going to say here, but these little mummies, they might be 1,000 years old, right? And I had said this on Alien Strand Disclosure Project page that I thought, me personally, that the extraterrestrials possibly crashed or met them somehow or another, right? And what they did was the pieces that were left over, maybe they found a whole alien, or maybe it was just in pieces. They couldn't put it together. So we were able to, that's why the bones of some of them were backwards on the hands, because somebody went through the scans and said, wait a minute, that bone's backwards. That bone doesn't look right. This bone doesn't look this. And the head was of a different animal, right? And so there was a lot of different stories going on what happened to those little aliens, right? So maybe it did happen 1,000 years ago. Maybe these things are 1,000 years old, right? But and they're different parts of extraterrestrials and non-extraterrestrial. In other words, human, right? So that's why it was 30% non-human and the rest was kind of human, right? It was terrestrial. In other words, us here, something that was in our civilization, right? So how do we tell what it is, right? Only time will tell. Only time will tell, right? I see you, Lauri. So it's yeah, she's back on. Yay. So we're gonna get her on here in a second, but I just want to go over that real quick. We don't know if, like I said, if those little extraterrestrials are real or they're not real. Could they be or could they not be real? And that's what it's still going to be up in the air, and just like I tell you guys, and I tell a lot of people, okay, so if an extraterrestrial crap, let's just say you're out camping or something, extraterrestrial crashes or lands in front of you, not crashes, just lands, and a little guy walks up to you, you got your camera, you're taking your pictures, right? You're showing this to the world. What's the first thing that's going to come out of everybody's mouth? Oh, that's CGI. That's this. That's. But you're standing there watching the whole thing, right? Like taking place, and you're like, "No, man, this is real." This, what? That's exactly what's going to happen. So, regardless if it's real, if you think it's real or it's not real, this is what the public eye does, and a lot of times they stigmatize it, right? Because UFOs, little aliens, our little hats, our tinfoil hats that we wear, come on. Who are we kidding here, man? We've been doing this for a long time. A lot of ufologists have been doing this for a long time. So how do we, make people understand that some of this stuff might be real, so let's just kind of keep an open mind, what I'm trying to say, on all this stuff, and and just try to make sure that we understand what we're looking at sometimes before we make a decision. Hey man, I first time I saw it, I was like, come on, man. That's what it was, and then after a while, I looked at it, I looked at more evidence, I started looking at a lot of things and started doing a lot of reading, start doing my homework, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, maybe they're onto something. Something could have happened a long time ago that we're not, we don't know about. So let's just leave it at that. And when you guys see the information, keep an open mind on any extraterrestrial. I don't care if it's the Nazca or the Peru or whatever it is, or even just an extraterrestrial they found out there, whatever. Keep an open mind. Understand that, yes, can it be CGI? Yeah, it can be. Everything's 50-50 chance. But just keep an open mind and make sure that that we're on the same track, until a final answer comes out, of of extraterrestrials and just things that happen out there, where we have to wrap our minds around if it's real or it's not. Because you know what? Until we have a mass sighting, then you'll you'll freaking remember, right? Or you'll know, right? Like, hey, wow, now that's real. It's in front of all those people. There you go. So anyway, I rambled enough. Let's go ahead and get our guest on today, because her name's Miss Lauri Body, and she wants to talk about her experiences that has happened throughout the years. All right, so let's go ahead and bring her on in now. Let's see. Here we go.
Hi.
There she is. Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. So I was getting worried, girl. I was getting worried.
I know, right? I finally got it. I got it. I am computer illiterate, so bear
It's it's
with me.
it's okay. It's quite all right. It happens, believe me. So you reached out to me and actually Anibal and got we all got in connections together with each other, and then I just you started telling me your story last week, and just to get a what was happening to you. So can you kind of give the audience who you are, where you're from, and then how everything started from the very beginning on your experiences?
Okay. Well, my name is Lori, and I was born in Dayton, Ohio, and have lived around Wright Patterson Air Force Base my whole life. Basically, there was 12 years that I lived somewhere else. Um, but I lived in and around Wright Patterson Air Force Base my whole life. When I was 3, I had my first encounter with the Greys. I remember all the adults were going crazy into me and my 3-year-old mind. It was a street corner. It was a street block like any other city block. And the adults were running around crazy, yelling, screaming with their hands up. And I'm just sitting there, calm as can be, just chilling and watching it happen. And I saw a gray walking down the street, and he was friendly. He didn't seem opposing to me, and that's the way it's been throughout my life. That dream, I told my parents, they called it a dream. It was a bad dream. Well, I
Okay.
had that dream a couple more times that year. When I was 3, I had a hernia operation, and I
Okay.
remember seeing tall grays standing with their heads were up above the medical staff's heads. And I remember seeing them and being comforted by that as I went to sleep under the anesthesia. And I woke up and I was happy as can be. Of course, I didn't say anything to my parents because they didn't believe me before. So I
Right.
kept it quiet my whole life, basically, until I met Annabelle, who has helped me remember quite a bit, actually, throughout my life.
Really?
Uh, Does it run in families? Yes, I do believe it runs in families. My son, when he was 2, he had a dream that, and it had to be the reptilians because he said a dinosaur was outside his window, and he saw a crack in the sidewalk, and he said, "See, mommy, I told you it was true." And I said, "I told you I was there, and I told him to go away." And I don't remember physically being there, but I remember being there and telling them to go away and leave him alone. I
Mm.
remember that.
Yeah. So you kind of what he told you in his dream, you actually like what do you call that deja vu moment when he told you, so you remember having it as well?
No, actually, I didn't remember it until Annabelle and I were talking,
Mhm.
and it came out then. I
Okay.
remembered the whole thing of me being there telling them to go away. I didn't remember it at the time. I
Right.
just knew that he had had that dream and I had told him to go away.
Wow.
That to me was the extent of it.
Right.
So at that time, I was oblivious. I'm not gonna lie, I was oblivious to the whole thing
Right.
at the time. I wasn't thinking anything about the strange things that I was seeing and everything. I didn't think anything about it. I thought it was bad dreams.
Wow. And so we, a lot of us go through it, but let me go back just for a minute. Okay. So when you said you saw this alien walking towards you as a child, right? Walking down the street,
Yeah,
did how did this extraterrestrial look? Was it tall? Was it slim? Was it short? How did it look?
he didn't seem overbearing to me. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna say he was tall, but he was adult sized,
Okay.
and he was not seeming to me to be harmful. He didn't seem dangerous.
Okay. Do you I'm going to break just for a minute. Do you have a TV on in the background because it's pretty loud on
Yes, I'm sorry. Let me turn it off.
okay. Go ahead and do
I
that.
am so sorry.
It's
I
okay.
meant to do that beforehand.
No worries. It happens. I just want to make sure people can tell what you're saying. So, as us, when we're trying to when we wake up from dreams, or even if we see something for real, we're trying to make our minds okay. Did I just see something for real, or was this a dream, or was this a spirit, or was this an actual extraterrestrial? When you see it in a different color, or when it came up to now when it came up to you, did it kind of ask you a question or just kind of looked at you?
It just kind of looked at me. That's why I say they've never did anything to me
Right.
that has been harmful. I know other people have had bad experiences
Right.
with grays, but I have not personally had a bad experience. My experiences, they've always looked out for me.
Right.
I will tell you that here's something freaky.
Go ahead.
At one time, I had a heart attack, and they said I had the Widowmaker, only I didn't die. And the cardiologist, the first visit, told me my whole left side of my heart was dead, and then he talked about putting a stent in, and I go in to talk about putting the stent in, and he tells me that I don't need the stent, that the left side of my heart came back to life and it's fine, and he doesn't understand it, and everything else. So I can't say that they've ever harmed me.
Wow. So, in your with your experience that you've had, and then when you had the hernia experience, why do you think that this is happening to you? Why?
I think it happened in my family history. I believe that it actually started with my great great grandfather. He kept my great grandmother from leaving the old world
Mhm.
and getting on the Titanic the
Mhm.
day it sank, and wouldn't let her leave till the next day to come to Canada. So I think that it actually started back then with the psychic abilities.
Oh wow, wow. Um, and I've told stories in the past of people that have been going through this through generations and generations, right? Uh and I don't know. Me personally, I just think you guys have a good bloodline, or you have something good that they want to be around. You know what I mean? So I I uh, I don't understand why this happens throughout the bloodline, but as far as the extraterrestrials that don't do any harm to you or to anything like that, as far as being mean or anything like that, or evil in a way, um, do has anything ever happened to you, like maybe scars or maybe some kind of maybe you think you've had some kind of an implant, some kind of a triangular geometric shape on you?
Yes, I have two actually
Okay.
on both lower legs, right above my ankle in the front, and they are weird shape, and they won't ever heal and go away. It's a permanent discoloration in my on my lower leg.
And that just happened from one day to next?
Yeah, it just showed up one day. It itched real bad, and I scratched it, and it burned,
Wow.
and and it just never went away. It's just always been there ever since. And the first one happened in my 20s,
Uh-huh.
and the second one happened in my 40s. So I'm wondering if every so often they have to put a new one in you
Every 20
because
years.
they've upgraded their technology.
All right. And just like Mr. Terry Lynch, I don't know if you know Mr. Terry Lynch. We always have him on the show. He talks about, like us, we get a new car every year, right? Or every couple of years, a new sports model comes out. So why not them the same thing? The new sports model of craft comes out, or their technology improves, right? I know their technology is way beyond us that we couldn't even fathom in our minds to try to put together. But you know, um, let me ask you this. So we talked last week, and you said that you would see kind of like shadows as well around you around the house. Uh,
Yes, I see what I call he reminds me of the Grim Reaper. He is a tall, dark, shadowy figure, and it looks like he's wearing a cowboy hat,
uh-huh.
and he's just appeared in my doorways, and just really kind of gives you that evil feeling, that scary feeling.
Wow. So you think it's do you I mean so ever since you started experiencing the with the dreams with the extraterrestrials and do you think that because of that first interaction that you had probably as a child, um do you think that maybe something has opened up around you, maybe a portal of some sort, that now the entities come around you more often, or just that one comes around to visit you?
I think a lot of them come through. I have a portal in it's out back by the canal. I live in Florida now, and I have a canal out back, and over the canal, a thin white line appears every once in a while, and it flashes, and something comes through it, and I can't get a a good picture, but I've gotten the lights of it, but
Really?
not a clear picture. And then I get the sparkles as well.
So it's actually illuminating some kind of light source when it's
Yes,
okay. And can you see it physically with your eyes?
yes.
Yes, you
I
can.
can.
Okay.
I can. Not just through the camera lens. I can actually see it.
Wow. And when this is happening in front of you, do what is your reaction to something like that? Do you like freak out, or what happens?
I'm just in awe. To be frank, I'm just taken aback. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I can't believe that I'm seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and it's hard to differentiate between an evil entity and a paranormal, or is it extraterrestrial? We always try to figure that out because they go into these different realms, and maybe they coexist together in that same realm to where when you have your dreams of an extraterrestrial, or if you do have an actual visitation, is it what you are seeing? You know what I mean? Do we know, or how do we know that if it's evil or it's not? You know what I mean? So, and with your experiences, have you ever got any kind of scratches, any kind of cuts, anything like slamming on the doors, anything like that?
Well, I've heard noises and I've heard talking at night, and it's nothing I can make out. It's not something I can understand. And I've heard that in when I lived in West Milton, Ohio.
Right.
Uh, I lived in a house that was the second house built in that town, and it used to be a boarding house. So a lot of people have come and gone through there,
Right.
and they must have left behind some travelers
Yeah.
because
And yeah.
because I heard them when nobody is up at night, in the middle of the night, walking up and down the steps. It's just crazy, the what I've seen and what I've heard in both realms, in the I what I call supernatural, the good evil God devil kind of world, and then the extraterrestrial world.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of hard to put it together sometimes, because you're wondering exactly what's happening to you or to anybody, as far as people carrying what you said before, people carrying these entities around with them. I mean, we've seen a bunch of stories, even movies about it, to where you can move to a different place. It doesn't matter. It'll follow you. Sometimes it's stuck on that person, not just an item, but it can be actually stuck on somebody, as far as the entity, if it's an entity, not extraterrestrial, but an entity. Now, when an extraterrestrial has you tagged and flagged, as far as like a microchip, anything like that, if you've been had an implant in your body, they're going to follow you the same way, right? So
Yes.
they both go hand in hand, right? If you think about it, they both go hand in hand. So, and that's why I always try to think about, well, is extraterrestrials or is this a spirit? What are we talking about here? Or are they both kind of saying, okay, you go first, you go next? You know what I mean? And because they're kind of trying to communicate with you somehow.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel. I've got both sides connecting.
uh, you
I,
know,
I
I,
do. I have both sides connecting.
wow. And I believe that, wholeheartedly, because, a lot of things people are experienced, you just can't, explain. But let's just go ahead and take a real quick commercial break. Give me about 30 seconds, okay? And we'll come right back. All righty.
All right.
Power. Power.
Right on. So, yeah, if you guys don't know, I got Let's Productions. If you guys need anything, I'm going to have actually two new music videos coming out from Osborne. that will be coming out here pretty soon. So there's our information there. If you guys need it, give me a holler. But let's get back to the story that you have. That so since do you have a timestamp when this started for you? Is there a date, just timestamp?
It would be 1966.
1966. Wow. Wow. So that's been a while.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. So I'm 60 years old. It's been going on for 57 years.
Wow. Wow. So, I mean, have has any of your other, I mean, I don't know if you have family members around with you. Has anybody else ever seen this around you?
I think my mom has, but didn't want, because at that time you didn't talk about this. This was something that you never mentioned, you didn't say in public. It was a no-no topic. And I don't think she wanted to discuss it with me.
Wow. I mean, do you think because she probably just didn't understand, or she just kind of just said, "Oh well"?
I think it was let's not talk about it because it's looked down upon.
Ah, yeah. Stigma. There we go. Stigma.
Yes.
This is what they went through in the 60s and 50s, and 70s and 80s, still in the 90s. We didn't barely start coming around till recently, till this past 2-3 years. I mean, when I started Alien Strand podcast in 2019, it wasn't really popular as far as like ufology, UFOs. It was out there, don't get me wrong. It was out there, but now it's been so popularized because of everything that everybody's seen up in the sky. Now, have you caught anything else like in the sky around you? Like, have you seen any crafts, UFOs, any
Yes,
activity in your area?
I see crafts pretty much on a daily basis. I can't get them on film yet. I got a triangular ship leaving once, but I see them, but I can't get them on film.
Wow.
I can see them, but nobody else can.
That's kind of strange. I, I hate to bring this up, but I mean, not hate to bring it up, but everybody always frowns upon Billy Meyer, right? The Billy Meyer story. I don't know if you ever heard of Billy Meyer, that gentleman up in Switzerland back in the 1960s and 50s. He was actually recording these crafts, right? And then they were telling him, well, the only reason, because he was actually filming them on a 35 millimeter camera and and I think it was a 16 millimeter video camera that he had, not video, but it was actual film, right? That was rolling, and they would show themselves to him, and they said, you know what? Only you can see us. So one day he told his neighbor, which lives about 5 miles away. He lives in a big, open, beautiful hillside area there in Switzerland. He just said, "Hey, I'm gonna be filming out here at this sometime. Let me know if you see something up over my trees or up in the sky at this time," right? Because they would tell him exactly what time they would show up. So when he started
Oh
filming,
wow.
and you could see it after the whole situation, the encounter was done. He went over the next day, whatever, say, "Hey, did you see anything at this time?" They said, "Nope, didn't see anything. We were standing out there. We saw you out there filming, but we didn't see anything." So, and this is what I'm trying to say, that, and those were the Palladians, and they call them Pelargians, I believe, something like that, that were able to only show themselves to him, right? So he
Yes.
was in such close proximity and so close to this extraterrestrial race that were so human, and they're beautiful people, that they look just like us, but they were tall and beautiful and blonde hair, and all the bells and whistles that came with it. He actually fell in love with one of them, but it's one of those things that do we go through these things as well, just like you did? You don't, you only you can see something like that happening, around you. I mean, do you think that that's possible, that you're probably going through that?
I think sometimes it is. I did manage to catch a small gray in my bushes watching me at dusk the other day, and I do have that on film. But you
Okay.
have to enlarge it to see it. It's just a tiny little gray, and he's hiding in the bushes, across from my condo, because I live in a condo complex, and
Wow.
there's many, many buildings. And he was in the bushes of the building in front of me, hiding in there, and I got him on film. And he's
Wow.
just a little gray, and you can see him clear as day.
Wow. Karen Pratt says, so true. I see crafts even when people are around me. Um, she says, but they don't see them, right? Uh, you know, how is that it happens that way, And then, so check this out. I was talking to this friend of mine. His name's Justin Boone. He's part of our paranormal team, but he's a great ufologist as well in his where he lives here in Texas, right close to my house. Anyway, we're talking about it. He called me one day and he says, "Hey man, I can see these UFOs through my glasses, man." He goes, "When I take my glasses off, I don't see them no more." He goes, "But when I put my glasses back on, I can see them again." And then he tried to get his camera, right? And he took his glasses off. I'm talking sunglasses, right? So he puts his
Oh,
camera
wow.
on and he tries to take pictures of them and he's sending them to me and I could barely make it out, but I could see something, right? And then I told him, I said, "Hey man, what kind of glasses do you have on?" He goes, "Man, they're like polarized, super polarized glasses." And then I started thinking to myself, you know what? That's probably something that we need to look at, because if you really think about it, just think about this for a second. Your cameras, your cell phone cameras, they're slightly polarized, right?
Oh,
Your
wow.
the glasses that you're wearing right now are slightly polarized. So I don't know if you notice, but when I'm outside, I look over my glasses. I'm always looking down. There's some things I can see in the sky, some things I can't, right? Because of my glasses are polarized. So there's a gentleman here in United States. It's called MB Man or something like that. But he catches this beautiful craft, right? And he can only see it through his welding helmet, right?
Oh,
And
wow.
those welding helmets, that glass on there is super polarized, right?
Yeah.
And it's the only way he could see it. So I just told everybody the secret to maybe checking out these crafts, instead of looking at them with the naked eye. Some people might be able to catch them that can't see them with super polarized glasses. So kind of think about that, that it's a possibility that you might see them that way. Have you seen any more of these like that?
Yes, I I see them every day. I get pictures of watchers, and I've gotten videos of crafts changing shape and colors. It's really cool. It's always a red color for me. I see the red energy
Wow.
first
Wow.
before I see the purples and the greens and the yellows and that. Although when I took a picture of myself for Annabelle to filter for me,
Uh-huh.
we can't even see me in the picture because something keeps getting in front of me. But the other day I saw something yellow in the my midsection, and he on his filtered version there was something yellow, a yellow energy in my middle section.
Oh
It
wow.
was really weird.
Yeah, Anibal is amazing at catching things like that. So is Mr. Chris Hamill there in Australia. Those guys rock, man. Those guys
Oh,
are,
he does.
we couldn't see anything without them, believe me, because I send my stuff to him too when I first started. He showed me so much, and Jody Gordon showed me so much. But Shannon says, do you think that they were brought here to their dimension? Or says, because maybe that's why others can't, I guess, people she's talking about, like others people can't see them because they're from different dimensions. When you saw these, you know, when you're asleep or you're having dreams, do you see them like in a sense around you sometimes, or it's just kind of like, or do you feel like you're awake when you see them sometimes, or just kind of like in a different, your mind's in a different
I
place?
I am just out and about, and I can feel them around me. I just know that they're there, and usually I can point my camera to the energy and the sparkles and everything. I just can't seem to capture a really clear shot of a craft jet, but
Right.
it's coming.
Well,
It's coming.
I think it is coming. What you can do is like what we did with Mr. Ryan Keaton, up there in San Antonio. You can manifest these things. You can ask them to show themselves to you. And maybe you'll get the answer or the photo or the video that you're looking for. You might just get that one lucky shot because they're going to show themselves to you and communicate somehow. Um,
Yes, I think so.
yeah.
I do. I agree with that. I do think they're dimensional. Uh,
Mhm.
I really do. I've caught interdimensional creatures before, and I've got videos of those.
Right.
Uh, they're in our groups uh, that are on Facebook.
Okay.
Uh, Search us up, and yeah. It's just mind blowing to just
Well, there's some folks that are welcome to it as far as like themselves being okay. There's people that are in the paranormal activity world that they just go out and look for it. Like Justin, he tells me, "Hey, let's go to this dark room, or let's go to that dark place over there in that dark." I'm like, no, dude, you go. You know what I mean? So there's some people that like that stuff, and it doesn't bother them, but then there's people that it does bother you. You know what I mean? It's like, wait a minute. I don't know if I'm protected as well. Me spiritually. You know what I mean? To where
right.
I don't want to bring something bad home, and then I get tormented for 20 years, and they're making a movie about me. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
and and
That's
that's what.
why I haven't done any of that manifestation. I'm afraid I will attract something bad. And I
Yeah,
don't want to do that.
I do not blame you 100% for that. You know what I mean? Because it's a gamble. It's a gamble. It's
It
just like
is.
it's like playing with a Ouija board in a sense, but with your brain. You're kind of like asking it questions, right? And show me, point at me, yes, no, whatever. But you want to see it with your own eyes. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah,
You do. You really do. And you do take a big chance when you do it, and you have to be prepared because sometimes it's not a pleasant thing, and that's not something that I think I can personally handle. So
yeah.
I'm afraid to open that door.
Yeah, and I don't blame you either. So you can be spiritually when anything that you believe in, it doesn't matter as long as you keep yourself grounded in a sense too. If you want to use prayer or anything like that to kind of help you keep yourself grounded, it's that works too. Anything positive. This is how I see it. Anything positive that you manifest around you first, because you always see it in those paranormal movies or not movies, but these actual shows on History Channel or PC or TCL, whoever it is. They say these prayers and whatever, throw holy water on themselves before they go out paranormaling, right, into cemeteries and things to protect them, right, from anything jumping on them or anything them bringing home. We all saw the movie Annabelle, right? We all saw the movie
Yeah,
Conjuring. The Conjuring. It
I don't
happened to
watch
these
those
people.
movies. I don't. I don't watch those movies.
Yeah, and
I stay away from anything like that. I do, which is weird that I have all of this stuff happening.
yeah, but I mean, and you don't, people don't have to watch it, but I mean, folks out there that are watching today and are watching our show that understand what I'm saying because they know that these are true events that happen to people, and some people just happen for no reason at all. They were just innocent bystanders that these things happen to. But we don't know if it's still, you still don't know if it's paranormal or extraterrestrial, right? Are you still trying to figure that out?
I think I see both actually.
Okay.
I see the spiritual side, and then I see the ETs as well.
Right.
I've seen beings, I've seen crafts. I The only thing I haven't seen yet, and I have in the clouds, is an actual ship. I've seen it far away and too far to get any clear picture of. Just
Wow.
that it was far away.
Yeah.
Uh, but I see a cylinder ship in the clouds all the time.
And a lot of people have been catching that what you're talking about, that they're experiencing that same thing you're experiencing, where these things hide up in the clouds, right? Um,
Yes.
Yeah, as far as like the extraterrestrials on the ground, no, I'm just going to show this quick video because I've been holding on to it for a while, and I just want to kind of. It's about maybe 15 seconds, so let's just check this out. And I think this happened to people up in a farm here in the United States. Um, I'm going to give you a small little backstory. So they were out there and they saw something turning their lights on their sensors, and they saw these things walking outside. They didn't know exactly what they were. That's just the backstory what it is, but and it's kind of distorted. The image is distorted, but let's check it out and let's just see what you think of this actual video.
They almost look like grays.
They do, right? Right. And you
Yes,
see them
they
moving. They're
do.
moving. They're moving.
Yes, they were. They
Yeah.
were walking around. They were like teletransporting. That was weird. That one was there and then it was over there. That
Yeah.
was wild.
I
That
know. And
was.
just imagine, Laurie, seeing that in your yard, right? And you're just trying to,
Yes.
okay, what the hell am I looking at? You know,
Oh, I, would that not be freaky?
yeah. And they're disfigured. If you notice, they got a large, weird, elongated head this way, right? And they got a
Yes.
skinny body, and then they got this wide body, but with long hands. Um,
Yes,
actually,
very weird.
I know, right? And when you actually zoom in, if you on the original video, when you zoom in a little bit and stop the frames, frame by frame, you can actually see the face moving like it's making or it's trying to talk or something.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, that is freaky. I don't. I wouldn't know how to act if I saw something like that. I didn't know whether to film it or run.
Oh, wow. I'd film it.
Well, and that's what I talked about earlier. If we film it and it's in front of you, are people going to believe you? Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's just so true. And you have proof, but they're gonna disclaim it somehow.
Right?
In their mind, they're gonna say, "No, this is not real. This
Yep.
is CGI."
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're gonna say.
And I get it. There's people that are intrigued on ufology, and they're intrigued on the aliens, and they're intrigued on everything like that, and they want to see something more definite, right? Like I don't know,
Yes,
like I was talking like a mass sighting to where there's hundreds of people are, actually videotaping at the same time, watching this thing unfold, watching something walk up to them. Then you'll be able to, say, okay, whoa, wait a minute, that's probably real, right? So, how do people actually do something like that to make you believe? You can't. It's kind of
yeah,
hard. It's hard,
it is. I I don't tell people around me about what I see and what I've heard. I don't really discuss it with other people other
right?
than in my groups because of that same exact reason.
Yep.
The
The same-
disbelief, the oh
Mhm,
you're crazy thing,
mhm.
the stigma.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is, and but I question people too there's a lot of trolls that love to go there and just kind of beat down on people hard, and As far as our group, we don't allow anything like that, and I don't even allow it on my Alien Strand group either, because when they start doing things like that, it makes you feel bad. Especially when you're trying to give the truth, you're trying to tell people exactly what you saw, right? And people's like, you're full of crap, yada yada yada. You're just lying, and I'm not, and they just make you feel bad, and they deter you from speaking out or being truthful of what you're trying to say, because they think you're lying, and it's just crap. It's bull crap. That's why they're called trolls. And I always question them. I say, look, man, if you're going to be a troll, if you don't believe in aliens and you don't believe in ghosts, why are you on these group pages then? Why
Yes.
are you on here? Why are
Uh,
you? Because you want to know, right? So
uh-huh.
if you don't believe,
Exactly.
you wouldn't be there. You wouldn't be wasting your time on that. You'd be doing something else, riding your car or your horse or whatever, just being out there, not messing with us. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
It's the whole bullying thing in
mhm,
a way. Because they feel like they're empowered when they do it. Like
exactly.
like I'm better than you.
That's exactly it. So Corey Uten, I think that's his name, says, I like the Italy footage the guy got off of them in their ship. So I don't know if I've seen that, or is that what we just showed? I really didn't get the full information on it, but I just had to throw it out there because that video, because it just freaked the heck out of me, and I know that
Yeah.
it just would made everybody kind of like, oh, wait a minute, what are we looking at here?
Yes,
So
that's something. That was really weird.
So, as
I'll
far as
send you that footage of the small gray.
yes,
I'll
please,
send that to you.
please do that. I wish we would have did this before so people could actually see it tonight.
Yes, I didn't think about it.
It happens. It happens. It does happen. Everybody. There's a lot of people watching tonight. And they're commending you for what you did tonight. Ani Ball said, "Great job." For being out there. Sue Harrison's behind you. Everybody's behind you. Karen Pratt. Everybody's behind Richard Bowman. They're all watching tonight, and they're all kind of they're giving you a nice applause for doing what you're doing tonight, because hey, that's what you deserve. You deserve a standing ovation, because it's not easy, doing what you're doing tonight. um a lot of people just can't do it. It's so hard for them to do it, because it's to find the courage, but you have the courage. And to me, you're a hero for that, because not everybody gets to tell stories like this, and it's happened to you, and it's really happening to you today, even today, right?
Yes, it goes on even now. I I I'm able to read vibes of people and of the world. On 9/11, I worked second shift, and I got off around 1 o'clock in the morning, get
Mhm.
home, get to bed probably 3 o'clock after. And I woke up out of a dead sleep when the first plane hit the
Wow.
tower,
Yeah.
and I woke up and I knew it wasn't over with. I saw the second plane hit, and I thought at the time I was just seeing the first plane hitting, but it was actually the second plane hitting, and then the plane that took the nosedive. I
Right.
saw that as well.
Wow.
So it's really weird. I'm on both realms. It's interconnected. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it is. So you get like premonition. That was a premonition, right, of what was to unfold here.
Yes. When I woke up, I saw it, and then minutes later, the second plane hit, and then the Pentagon, and then the plane, or however it happened. I don't like remembering that. It
Yeah,
was
that's
I
always
am a empath as well, and the overwhelming emotion was just so much to handle that day.
it was because I mean, and I'm sure it's like I knew about it, but how do you tell somebody I just had a premonition that this was going to happen here hours before it happened? You can't blame yourself for that, but I know you feel bad for it, and it was horrible what happened, because I remember where I was at when it happened. I was watching it while I was a truck driver. I was dumping stuff at a salvage yard. You know what I mean? And it came out on TV, and I was watching it right there unfold. And I jumped in my truck and hauled butt home because
Yes.
I didn't know what was going to happen after that. And so it terrified me as well. Not just being here in Texas, but I didn't know what was going to happen next. And I had
Right.
I had a family at the time.
I didn't want to go to work that night. In fact, I tried to get out of it, but they wouldn't let me.
Wow.
Uh, I was a nurse at the time,
Oh,
so
wow.
I
Wow.
wasn't able just to call in.
Right.
I didn't have that privilege, and I thought my kids, they're just gonna be so overwhelmed by this. All I could think about was I need to be at home for my kids.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, when you got these premonitions, you've seen these extraterrestrials in your dreams. You've actually seen one, what you think that happened for real. And we always ask the question, what do they want? Is it our existence confirmation, or is it knowledge? Are they trying to give us more information as far as like they're going through us, through human beings, to try to get their agenda across to the human world? In other words, like, okay, so I'm going to talk to you through her, or I'm going to talk to you through this person, and just we're showing you exactly what everything is, or what's to come, because you're special.
Yeah, I think to an extent that's true, that we are the vehicles that they are using to make themselves known.
Yeah, I believe that too as well. That's a true statement. We're vessels, right? We are actually in a vessel right now until we're gone. You know,
Right.
um, so why not use that as well? Are there good? There's good aliens and there's bad aliens out there. So you haven't experienced the bad ones yet, right? So
Right. No, I have not.
which is a
I don't know if the Greys have been protecting me my whole life from it, or what, but they have been in my life since I was 3.
well, yeah, Karen Pratt says they're listening now. I'm sure they are.
Oh
Because
yeah.
we're
They know I'm talking about them.
yeah.
Hopefully I'm not making them upset.
No, no, it's just you haven't said anything bad about it. Everything has been positive that's been coming out, and all you're doing is just confirming the existence of what they are and who they are, right?
Yes.
And by going through you know what I mean? So, and I believe that you're a tool in a sense, and a lot of people are tools to able to communicate with extraterrestrials. Me personally, I think anyone can, but some people are just chosen at a time and a place, special place, even when they're children, to they can follow you throughout life and kind of lead you into different directions, or just to let the world know that they exist, right? And
Yes, I think they know from whenever they encounter you what you're made of, and if they can use that to help them. And that's what I think it comes down to.
right, and that's true. Karen Pratt says, I knew since I was a kid that they had a mission, right? She had a mission, actually. So,
Yes.
how do we explain that to people? How do we explain that to people of who are going through the same thing? What do you say, Karen? What do you say to people out there? That tell you that they've experienced the same things, Laurie. What do you tell them sometimes?
I'm right there with you. I am understand exactly what you're going through and how it's hard to talk about. That when you do find somebody to talk about, that's all you want to talk about, and you want to talk about it all the time.
Right, right.
Because you finally found someone who is been where you've been.
Right. So it's
So
it's like it's kind of like camaraderie, you know what I mean? It's like you guys have experienced the same things together, and you don't feel alone. And that's what Alien Strand Disclosure Project does. This is what we're doing here today. You're not alone because we're here behind you. We're behind you 150% here, Laurie. And we're giving out the information to everybody out there that's watching. And we just know that you're doing an awesome and amazing job today. Just
oh,
getting
thank you.
your information out there. We appreciate you 100%, because like I said, it's not easy. Now, I know we're coming to the end of our show already. Do you have anything you'd like to say to anyone out there, or just to the public, and on what anybody's maybe is going through the same thing as you are?
I know that a friend of mine who has commented on the show tonight is going through a lot, so I just sending good vibes her way and tell her I'm there with her and I understand. I understand completely.
Right. Nice. Nice. Well, I mean, thank you for, like I said, again, for being on the show today. And we really appreciate you and everything that you talked about today, because, a lot of folks out there might be experiencing what you're experiencing. They're just trying to figure it out just like you. So is there any special groups that you're in that people can probably find you at?
Yes, I am in several groups. They're all animals groups.
Okay.
Um, So I'm in the UFO, I'm in the connections, frequencies, abductions, UFO and paranormal. And then we just started a new group that is through invitation only.
Right.
So they can, once it becomes open, they can join. But at this moment, it's just starting up.
Right, right. Okay, well, like I say, if you have a chance, this whole podcast is going to be on audio too. So once you give me the links, once you get them open or whatever ones you have, I'll post the links to this podcast on anybody that is watching tonight. They're watching on YouTube, they're watching on Facebook, and they're watching on X. Right, that's where people are finding you right now, the live video podcast. But they'll be able to catch you on audio as well. But Laurie, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. And, you gave a lot of insight to people of what you're going through. And, we hope that you help more people, because you're helping people tonight, actually. And, we just hope that you're able to tell more stories. And if you got any more stories, you give me a call and we'll put you back on the show.
Oh, I've got plenty of stories.
Well,
Just let me know when you're ready.
okay. I'll put you on the show with Mr. Terry Lynch, and all of us. We'll go on for 3 hours.
That's it. I got all kinds of stuff. And this time I'll send you videos.
Nice. Yes, that would be good. Some videos. All right, Laurie. Well, we'll talk to you after a while, and you have a safe one, and we'll get together with you again. Okay.
All right, you guys keep on doing such a great job. You are fantastic. Thank you
Thank,
so much for the opportunity.
thank you so much. We'll talk to you here shortly. Okay.
All
Appreciate you.
right. Have a good one.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. There you go. Miss Lauri Body there, she did a great job. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. I hope it didn't glitch tonight. I don't think it did. I didn't see anything doing that. I didn't hear it coming out of my headphones, right? So I hope everything went well tonight. Like I said, Laurie, she's a beautiful human being. She just wanted to tell her story and wanted to get out there, as and just make it known, just like a lot of folks have done, in the past, here on our shows. And we do it, because we want the information out there to you guys, because maybe you're going through the same things, maybe you're experiencing the same things and don't understand exactly, what's happening in your life. So, and a lot of times things can be explained, right? They can be explained, because other people are going through these things, and that's why we have these groups. So remember that, the groups that we do have, we always make sure that there's no trolling and anything like that. So if you're going to be a troll, forget it. Don't even bother. But if you're going to be a positive person, try to help. Join these groups, man. I 100%, I always tell everybody that we're all here together we all have little pieces, right? Everywhere that we try to grab pieces of stories, pieces and everything. And it's all a piece of the puzzle, right? And once we get that puzzle all together, right? Connect them all together, it's going to make a beautiful picture, right? And we'll be able to understand what we're seeing up in the sky, or even in front of you, right? Or even in your dreams, right? So we get to understand those things a little bit better. But thank you guys for being a part of Alien Strand here today, podcast and Alien Strand Disclosure Project. We couldn't do anything like this without you, because you guys are the ones that make this happen. So don't forget to go to our website. If you want to join Alien Strand Disclosure Project, you can join it, us there, and just be a part of the team. You can represent your state if you want to. Look at the ticker there at the very bottom. It's ASDP-UFO.com. Go there, or our sister page, alienstrand.com. Go check us out there. If you guys want to be a part of our team, we'll be glad to have you. We appreciate each and every one of you for just being a part of everything that's happened. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My sister Davina is watching out there tonight in Indiana. Hey, thank you for watching. Hey, so it's a lot of people chimed in today, and I'm glad that they were out there, watching tonight, because that's what it's about. It's about getting the information out. So until then, don't forget, catch us on 26, 27 platforms. We're all over the place on audio podcasts. Catch us live right now on YouTube. If you are on YouTube right now, hit us a like and hit us a subscribe. On Facebook, share this podcast if you thought it was interesting. If you're on X, give us a thumbs up, share it anywhere, even on our audio podcast. Or if you see it, you hear it, share it, all right? Because the information and what we do out there for you guys is 100%. And, for you guys to get other people involved, to what they're going through as well. But anyway, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening, and have yourselves a good night.
This is A.S.D.P ufologist Terry Ledge from Oregon. You're watching the Mothership Alien Strand podcast with your host, Donald Ledesma.